A 4-year project to rewrite the rules for development in Austin.
It's no secret that Austin's population has exploded over the last 30 years since the Land Development Code was written, and a lot of the growth has happened through sprawl, only further contributing to traffic downtown. And one idea is to concentrate on adding density in Austin's major corridors. Lamar, just one of them.
KXAN's Kylie McGivern zeroing in on how this plan city leaders call Code Next is designed to move some of that development along in responsible ways, but she found it will result in some extra effort on the part of developers.
The code Austin has now sets up potential flooding problems if a project doesn't add more impervious cover where water cannot soak into the ground. The developer is typically not required to minimize the flood potential, no matter what happens downstream. Ebony Acres in East Austin is one example of an area that has concerns about how future development could impact areas downhill that are already prone to flooding. Councilmember Ora Houston wants the Land Development Code to afford East Austin the same protections as areas to the west. Right now, the rules are different.
When we talk about infield and housing that is built on a hill or a slope and how that water is then diverted into communities, we don't have those kind of protections.
Under the new code, developers would be required to contribute solutions to reduce flooding downstream.
We really have an opportunity to protect our neighborhoods and the quality of life that we have in this city.
Kylie McGivern, KXAN News.
The top priorities Code Next aims to address involve mobility, community, environment, housing, and permitting. Coming up here at 6, Kylie will take a look at those last two items, which could provide some fresh incentives for developers to get projects rolling.
City's overhauling its decades-old land development rules called Code Next.
Following 4 years of work, city leaders released the draft version today, which determines what can be built, how much, and where. KXAN's Kylie McGivern explains some of the solutions identified to help break down development barriers.
One of the big challenges is that Austin's housing supply is not meeting the demand, and one of the reasons for that is complicated regulations that are simply unnecessary. Right now, a lot of the housing options cater to very specific markets. Councilmember Ora Houston spoke to what's known as the missing middle-class housing.
The issue is the people who build housing are the people who are in fact building at the high end. It's about economics for them as well.
The new Land Development Code would make it easier to develop housing that fits various size and economic needs and works within the character of the neighborhood. David Whitworth with the Austin Infill Builders Group hit on another challenge Code Next aims to solve.
In Austin, we go straight from large lot single family to apartments.
By simplifying the current site plan review process, it would allow for faster review of projects in the middle with 3 to 9 units, potentially increasing affordability.
If we could have triplexes, fourplexes, small lot homes, there are other options, housing products available that are not allowed in Austin that we're hoping Code Next will resolve. We don't want to see happen is that we spent 4 years and $4 million to keep a complicated code that doesn't address true market affordability.
Kylie McGivern, KXAN News.
The Code Next project team will provide an overview of the drafted changes this Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Palmer Events Center. City leaders say there will be many opportunities over the next several months for the public to provide input.